The Laugh and Run podcast is brought to you by an old man waiting for the train. An old man waiting for the train? Where's he going? No one knows because all his friends are dead. The Laugh and Run podcast is also brought to you by emotional instability. Emotional instability, the main driving force of my comedy since childhood. Kind of wrote that joke. All right. Lastly, the Laugh and Run podcast is brought to you by Gold Spray Paint. Gold Spray Paint can turn anything into a trophy, even the note your father left when he abandoned the family. This is the Laugh and Run podcast.
It's the Laugh and Run podcast with Ken Holmes and Tommy McClellan Willard.
Okay, we're rolling. All right, we're good. Cool, man. Well, Chris, thank you for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Psyched to be here with you fellas.
Yeah, right on, buddy. So Ken and I both work with you in our own professional lives, but you're tell us about yourself, your background, man. Let people know who you are.
My name is Chris Farley, not the dead actor. People your age probably don't even know who that person is.
Yeah,
you're a comedian.
Different.
That's right. That's right. But
you're not living in a van down by the river. You're the Pacers prodigy.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Okay, so you do know who Chris Farley is, the late Chris Farley, the late great Chris Farley. But my name is Chris Farley, owner of Pacers Running. We have 5 stores in the D.C. area. Runpacers.com. Check us out. We got 3 stores in Washington, D.C., 2 stores on the Virginia side. So I've been owner and, I guess I'm the president, but I call myself the chief running enthusiast. So I'm not really like, I don't have.
Number one cheerleader?
Yeah, number one cheerleader, I think is a good way to put it. So I've been doing that for 21 years, owned a store for 21 years, and just blessed, man. Work with you guys, work with a lot of great people. We really make a huge difference in people's lives. So if you haven't been to a specialty run shop like Pacers Running, you're missing out. You got to check us out or check a specialty run shop out that you guys are a part of many specialty run shops. But so I run these shops and we sit down with you. We talk about what your goals are, your fitness goals, and we set you up in the best shoes, the right footwear, right apparel, right accessories. And yes, I've been doing that for 21 years now. Nice. Well, actually, I started in 1999, and then bought an existing store in 2003. So you own Pacers. My wife currently works for Pacers.
Correct. His wife recently worked for Pacers. So
incestuous here, yeah.
Out of the 3 of us, who do you think is most likely to get divorced?
Oh man, out of the 3 of us, you know what? If the traffic's too much on the way home, it's definitely me.
No.
No.
That's a humble answer. No. It would have been funny if you were like Ken for sure.
No.
And we'd be like, oh damn, what does Chris know that we don't? He'd be like, what do you know that I don't know?
I love the hard-hitting question right out of the gates here. Man. I would say definitely me. I would say definitely me. You guys don't have kids, right? Do you have kids? Kids? No? Yeah. So
how many kids do you have?
Just wait. I have 3 kids. Amazing. The best thing ever. But stress on the relationship for sure. In a good way. 3 boys. 3 rambunctious boys that are just crazy and amazing, but just a lot.
How do you balance that? Because running one running store, let alone 5, is just insane. So how does that work?
You know what? I got a lot of great support. I'm kidding about my wife. She's going to listen to this. Amazing. We got a great relationship. Julie, thank you. Yeah.
Professional athlete, right?
Yeah, she was a professional athlete. And,
amazing.
Which was pretty incredible.
She's an Olympian.
Olympian, yep. Olympian, once an Olympian, not a former Olympian. So I appreciate that, Ken. Yeah. Always an Olympian. So she's an Olympian. Ran the 5K in the 2012 Olympics in London, which was pretty amazing. She was the U.S. champion In 2012, her and Molly Huddle, a Saucony athlete, came down the stretch neck and neck. Julie took the inside and edged her out, her good friend Molly Huddle. So that was pretty exciting back. Man, that was, 12 years ago. Unbelievable. So since then, we've had 3 kids. And how do I balance it? It's a good question. We got great support. Julie is incredibly supportive, and she rolls with the punches. And I think that's what you got to do in your personal life and work and just generally. I think it's just a good trait to have, that we kind of roll with the punches, and every day is a little bit different because we're super involved with our kids and their activities and their school and all that stuff, and super engaged with the running community. So it just doesn't stop. So you got to be just going and on it, and pivot here and try to just bring a good attitude. So that, and then we've got a fantastic staff that super understanding as well. They know that there's no question that I am doing whatever I can to move this thing forward, the business forward, the running community forward in DC. And, so just a lot of support. My business partner, Kathy Dalby, she's been working with me for over 20 years as well. So we just it's a good team. It's a team. Everything is a team sport. Anything that's successful is a team sport. Running seems individual, but man, running is as you guys know, runners, it's a team sport.
Mm-hmm. I always felt, especially cross country, was a good representation of
it.
Life, because you can succeed individually, but it's way more rewarding if you succeed
dude,
as a
and
team.
it's the fall. Cross country's the best, man.
Yeah.
It's that time of year. You can feel it in the air. Well, it's a little humid today, but most
doesn't
days,
stop here.
Most days post September, you can feel it in the air. So yeah, it's cross country season, and that is a great metaphor for what we try to do in our business. You gotta succeed as an individual, but it's the sum of all the parts.
Yeah.
With the team, and cross country is the ultimate team sport, even though people don't really realize that, being it's such an individual pursuit. Running,
I feel like it doesn't get the hype it
deserves. It should, man. Cross country is. So if you're listening out there, if you're one of the millions of listeners out there right now, you get your kid in cross country, or get yourself in cross country. It is so rewarding, and you don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be, even be a runner. A lot of times you can pick it up in middle school, high school, and it's super rewarding.
I'm from upstate New York, and middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
My coach was a dairy farmer, and he's like, you were both the slowest and the fastest kid I ever coached. So
there you go.
There's a lot of room for growth. Like
nice.
Even if you're not good in the beginning, you can, if you like it. You can
See, when I was in high school, though, I never ran cross country, never ran track. I actually didn't start running until after I graduated college.
I've known this dude for 10 years. That's learned something. I can't believe that. Wow.
His name's not even Ken.
No, but so I was on the wrestling team in high school.
Right on.
And
that's awesome.
I was on the wrestling team in high school. My mom, she was like, yo, you should definitely, she said that. She said, yo, you should definitely do this. Cross country, it would be your sport. And I was like, well, what time is practice?
She took a hit off a blunt. She's like, yo, you.
I was like, well, what time is practice, Ma? She was like, oh, it's like at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? No, that's the summertime. I'm sleeping in.
Yeah, you're not doing that.
Forget about it. Yeah, so I ended up joining the wrestling team. And I remember my wrestling coach being like, I'm either going to make you guys track stars or you guys are going to be phenomenal wrestlers.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And it looks like I became a track
star. That's it, buddy.
How'd you meet your wife?
So she moved here as she was a professional runner back in the 2010, 2011, moved to DC and ran with a guy who was coaching me at the time at American University. The head coach at the time was Matt Senchowitz, Olympian Matt Senchowitz. His son won the Olympic gold medal in Rio in 2016. So Matt is really close with both Julie and I. So she was coaching him, or he was coaching her, and I was part of what was called the 5 o'clock group, which was, a group of runners who would come to a workout after Coach Centro coached he coached some elite professional runners, and he coached his college team. So we would be the group that was the kind of the JV squad. Nice. So we ran with them, and Julie would actually hop in a workout or two with the 5 o'clock group, because there were some guys who were faster than me, and so she would run with them. Julie's PR in the 5K. I ran at University of Virginia myself. I fancy myself a solid D1 athlete, but her 5K is faster than mine, 15:15 to 15:05. But so she and I met through. She was coaching at AU and then working out with the 5 o'clock group.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then did you propose?
I did. Let's see. That was we got married. We just celebrated our 10-year anniversary.
And
so
don't worry, if you get the numbers wrong, we'll bleep it out for you. So we don't want to throw you under the bus, man.
Yeah, I think it was 2013. Yeah, it's a winter of 2013
Nice.
Once she had made the Olympic team, I was like, I'm not gonna get.
Gotta lock
than
this
this.
up.
Yeah. I mean,
You're like, let's see where her athletic career goes first before.
She's got way more options than me. So and it's been a good run. We had our first kid 2016. She was coaching at Georgetown. She rose the ranks on the coaching side and was the director of cross country track and field at Georgetown after kind of retiring from running in 2013 or 2014. And then we had our first kid, James, in 2016, Paul through 2018, and at that point, you could see that coaching was not going to be in the cards. It was just too much. We were traveling every weekend. I was like following the bus while she had with a kid or two in the back on a weekend, and like she would stop, and it was like she'd feed the kid while we were at a rest stop, and it was just a little much. And then the recruiting in college cross country has become, it's not what football or basketball Division I stuff is, but it's, with the NIL, it's just become crazy. So it is full time every weekend, all the time. So she transitioned out of that profession in 2020, right before we had our third kid.
Okay. Nice.
Third boy, 2021. So Paul was 28. I mentioned James was 2016, Paul was 2018, and Julian, third boy in 2021. Which is not easy for an old guy like me. I'm 48 with a 3-year-old. I go to his class, and it's like, I've got people who are your guys' age, who've got 3-year-olds, and it's, they're 15 years younger than me, maybe even 20 years younger than me. And so I got to keep running to stay young and keep up with these young whippersnappers.
You have a very vibrant. Because this is the first time you and I have talked, right?
For sure.
So you have a very youthful, vibrant vibe.
I appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. So
appreciate it.
You keep talking smack on yourself, and I'm like, oh, all right. Learning about Chris today.
I do think it is having the kids at this older quote unquote, and I think people are having kids later. I think it does keep you kind of young. And I was telling Ken before, Tommy, that I'm coaching my 6-year-old's team. Unfortunately, the game was rained out, but I got to bring the energy for that.
Right.
You got to bring it for these kids. I think athletics are super important, and so I got to stay, be able to keep up with them if they want to play soccer, basketball, football, whatever it is. And I think running has allowed me to do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Speaking of running, and you even alluded that you were a D1 athlete before. Now you're marathon. What is the word I'm looking for? Marathon streak?
Yeah, marathon streak.
That's
sub 3-hour marathon for the last 25 years.
Nice, man. Appreciate it.
That's insane.
My hype man over there. Yeah, man. Yeah. So I got into marathoning right after college. I was an okay runner at Virginia. Virginia's like a super good, they're like a ranked NCAA, D1 NCAA cross country team. Now, we weren't that at the time. I was able to run varsity there, and it's evolved so much. That was almost 25. That was 25, almost 30 years ago when I started running at Virginia. So ran varsity there. Quickly, after graduation, still enjoyed running and wanted to see if I could compete at not at the level of my wife or a lot of athletes that Saucony would support, but a kind of a secondary or third level to that. And so I just wanted to see where it went. And my buddy ran the New York City Marathon in 1998. I graduated college in 98. He enjoyed his experience. He graduated a year before me. So ran the marathon in 98. He said it was awesome. He said we should do it together in 99. I was like, great, let's do it. I had no idea what I was getting into. Did some long runs. So ran the 1999 New York City Marathon. Ran 2:42. So, solid, but not, it was good, but had no idea what I was doing. Just kind of went out there.
First marathon?
Yeah,
first marathon.
For first marathon, especially when you're like, your training's not, you know what I mean? You're doing long runs.
But it wasn't dialed for,
Yeah.
I'd kind of worked. And so college runners out there, if you're, you're fit from college, like use that college fitness. Because it does kind of generally it kind of fades a little bit.
I'm noticing the dwindle.
Yeah.
I'm trying my best to keep it going, but I'm 7 years out now.
7 years out.
I'm noticing the dwindle.
Yeah. And how many years out are you, Ken?
Ooh, graduated in 2013.
Okay.
So 11.
Yeah, 11 years out. Yeah, man. So as guys like us, I like to put myself in your category, although I'm much older.
Age is a mentality.
Yeah, dude, exactly. I think that's a good theme for this. But you're coming out. I was 23, and I'm residual fitness from college. Run that marathon, run 2:42. Had no idea what I was doing. That's about 6:15 pace ish, somewhere around there, 6:20 pace. Felt great. I was like, this is amazing, and I was like immediately hooked to marathons. And I said, all right, that qualified me for Boston, so let's check that out and do that. And so just ran marathons every single year. And, I got to 2003, 4 years later, 2003, 2004, ran my best time. And I thought I'd run faster than that at that time, but ran 2:31 at the Sacramento, what's that fast race out there in Sacramento? Cal and Nashville. Thanks, fellas. Thank you. Yeah. So ran 2:31 there, and I was, as I'm patting myself on the back here, I was 6th at the Marine Corps Marathon one year in 2:33. Marine Corps has gotten a lot faster since that too. And so I ran, I just ran, and then I woke up in 2012 or 13, and I was like, wow, I've run a marathon under 3 in 3 decades already, because I was lucky to get it in 99. So I ran it in the 90s, the 2000s, and the 2010s. So I was like, wow, 3 decades in. And I started checking the numbers, and I'm like, actually, I've run a sub 3 hour every single year. And so then it became a thing, because then at that point, 2013, I was never going to set another PR 10 years after my PR.
Right.
But I was like, okay, this is a thing, and I'm going to try to break 3 hours. And in 2013, 2014, easy, 250, 245, 240, high 240s. 2016, 2017, it starts getting harder. 2017, I miss it. And then Kathy and the team put on a race for me at 2 days before the end of the year, because it's got to be in the calendar year.
Right.
Yeah.
So did a race around Haynes Point, made up our own. It was a timed race, USATF certified course.
Nice.
Broke 3 hours there at the end of the year, and got some notoriety from that. My buddy Kellen Sung, who was working at the Post, wrote an article about it, and then people were like, wow, this is cool. You're almost 20 years in. This is really kind of a thing. And so got to 20 years in 2018, and then worked my way up to 25 in 2023 with another last gasp effort that my buddy put on at Charm City Run 3 days before the new year last year. So it's been an incredible journey. There's a lot of people who can do it. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have done 25 years of sub. Well, not a lot, but there's a number of people. I just talk about it more, and I enlist my buddy Kellen Sung, who wrote another couple articles. I was on the cover of like the style section of the Washington Post last year 2 times. One for missing it at New York, and then one for making it at the last chance effort. So it's been a pretty cool run.
That's a pretty quick double, like back to back as well. So
yeah, and I did New York. Just totally gutted that I did. I couldn't. I finished the race. I think it was 3:03 or 3:04. I like to kind of block that out, so I don't know the exact time. I had my buddy who is 20 years younger than me, Johnny Pace. He was documenting the whole thing, so you can check that out. RunPacers.com. You can check out on the culture section if you haven't seen the video of me training for it and then missing it at New York. Pretty cool video that he did. So documented the whole thing. Super disappointed that I didn't make it, but you know, it made the story that much better. Yeah. Get to TRE, talking to Levinson and his event manager. You guys know Levinson, who's got the best stores in the country up in Baltimore.
Better than your stores.
Well, you know, 1A and 1B. No, there's a lot of great stores out there. There are a lot of great stores out there. I think he's at the top, and we try to fancy ourselves at the, you know,
tip of the spear.
Yeah. Tip of the spear is a good term.
I don't want to divert us too much from what you're saying, but like that is like a really kicking up the rug. Yeah, that is a really interesting thing though, because they're great, but you guys are also considered like one of the best in the country. That. Did that just happen organically?
Yeah,
was
totally
that
organically. My Brooks rep introduced. I was trying to open a store back in 2001, 2002. My Brooks rep introduced us, and we became friends. He was super helpful. Maybe it was right when he opened, because I think they opened 2002, so somewhere around that time frame. And he introduced us, and he was super helpful. And I thought I was going to open up my own store, and then we ended up buying the existing store, convinced my parents to mortgage their house, and then buy this existing store in 2003. But Josh has been super helpful, and we're not in the same market, and so we've been really good buddies for 20 plus years.
Nice.
And so at TRE, he and his event manager. And that's probably a slight to what Will does, because Will does amazing stuff. He said, you know what? Let's put it on for you. And we're going to do a race, at the end of December, and it'll be just for you. And we've got a certified course. We've got the timing equipment. And at that point, I was like, it's not going to happen. I was so disappointed. I was like, at least I'd get to 25. I'd be really excited with 25, and I could feel like I could let this thing go. Mm-hmm. And Julie would be really glad that I let this thing go. So, and actually, to Julie's credit, I got to say, she was like a big proponent. Once I finished New York and didn't make it, I was in tears, literally in tears. And she's like, when are we doing it? When are you doing it again? I was like, I can't do it. I don't have the emotional energy. She's like, when are you doing it again? She's like, suck it up, stop crying, let's go.
Aww.
So that was pretty cool, but it was kind of in a loving way. So Levinson was like, let's put on this race, and so then it was on. And so from TRE on, I was locked in, and then ran 256 out there on December 28th. Of 2023.
For those of you that don't know the timeline, New York City first weekend.
Yeah, November 4th-ish. Yeah.
And then TRE, the running event, is usually around Thanksgiving time frame.
Yeah, exactly. So I had been running with this thought in my mind, maybe, but once Josh gave me the pep talk after Julie's pep talk, I was in.
Yeah. So. And a month and a half is like you basically might as well do it the next day. Like that's not a lot of time between marathons. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was a special event, and it really was a meaningful personal accomplishment. And again, we talked about running is I believe a team sport. This was a kind of a selfish pursuit that that I did, and it really, I thought, was super cool because a lot of people were like psyched about it. I got like 100 messages about like after New York, like literally text, Facebook, Instagram, like people were like, awesome, great job. Like most of them were encouraging me to do it again.
Nice.
So, which was really, so I felt like, again, with the selfish pursuit part of it, it became a community thing. And again, big props to Kellen for, telling the story through the post 2 times, missing it, then making it, which, I still get people to this day asking about it. So it was again, a team effort from, Julie's support, my family, Levinson, Will, Kathy was like, all right, this is we got a lot going on with the business, but we're going to support this too. And so the team at Pacers, so pretty cool thing. And I think that's probably going to be the last one.
I was going to ask you.
Yeah. As we sit here, middle or towards the end of September, I think that's the last one. I've had some injuries, and I finally had some injuries. I've been so blessed to stay so healthy throughout my running career. Some injuries that I'm working through, and I'm running, but I don't see it happening this year, which is fine, which I think this was a good end to a streak that was 25 years.
It's a nice cap. Like 25 is just
Totally,
a nice,
man. It's a number.
solid
It's a good
number. Yeah.
I may
for
run a
sure.
marathon, and maybe it's 320, and then it's like, all right, 26 years under 320. And then I could just change that bar. I could keep lowering or changing the or moving the goalpost. And, maybe when I'm 60, it's, however many, 40 under 6 hours.
Yeah,
I don't
that'd be
know.
cool.
Yeah.
You still
Which
just
I'll
get
take.
out in there doing it.
Exactly.
I'd love to hear. Like, I love kind of this world we work in, this industry. And I know
it's the
we
best,
all do.
man.
It
We're
is the
so
best.
blessed.
And
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts and goals and ambitions beyond what I do day to day, and like of how like I think I'd like it to see it like grow and expand. And I'd love to hear, like, you look 5-10 years down the line, like how do you envision kind of this world, the specialty world, the running industry, both sport, retail, all of it? Like, where do you see it going?
That's a great question. I believe it's going to continue to grow. I think we're very fortunate that we are in a space that is post-COVID continuing to grow, and I think we've got some tailwinds still, which, again, we're very blessed to be all together on the Saucony side, on the Pacers side. The consumer is got a real interest and thirst for what we're doing, and it's not necessarily we just were talking about cross country and marathons and running in high school and college and all that stuff. That isn't necessarily that consumer anymore. I'd say that we're seeing a lot of legs with people who just want comfortable footwear, people who are understanding that it is so vital just to be healthy and to have a healthy lifestyle. Right. So we have to reach out to those consumers and resonate with those consumers. And I love what you guys are doing. You guys are offering an extra level of content, which I think is important. So where's this going? That's the question. I think it's going to a consumer who is not necessarily going to, in the traditional sense, years ago, walk into a quote-unquote running store. I just don't think that is that consumer was intimidated by the running store in the past. I think we've got to change that. So we've got to break through and continue, and I think we are, and I think we're going to continue to see that evolution. We got to break through and resonate with that person who 10 years ago would be like, I'm not a runner. No way I'd walk into there. I'm intimidated. Mm-hmm. I'm worried to see someone like Ken or Tommy or Chris. I wouldn't. They couldn't relate to me. We got to continue to break through. And one way, I think, content is a way to help resonate with this group. Something like we're doing here. I know this isn't necessarily just for the channel. There's a lot of, but I think there's a lot of verticals that we can participate in as a channel. I love the bits. I'm a big guy for bits.
All right.
Yeah, I love your guys' bits. Yeah. See you walking around in a hurricane with an umbrella up on Instagram. Love it.
We got a Chris Farley in a big coat. here today.
Yeah. So, so things like that. I think content is going to be, it's going to continue to evolve, and content and resonating with that consumer who wouldn't walk through our doors. That's where we're headed. I truly believe, and we've got to go where that runner/fitness enthusiast is going. And so we've got to evolve, and it's not necessarily in the four walls of the running stores anymore.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. So we got to be wherever that consumer's going.
I'm with you. That's really nice to hear, because that's exactly how I've been thinking about it. Like my stand-up the past few years, anything I make, like content like this stuff, like it's all kind of crossing the two, because that's what I like is natural to me and what I love. But I also am like, yeah, like if I really care about people and running and I want to get them moving, and if I can, I feel like comedy is so not necessarily the content, but in the concept, it's welcoming. Like anybody can listen to it.
Yep.
And I feel like with running, with walking, with moving, with getting proper shoes, like there has been this intimidation factor. But
100%.
I'm glad to hear that, places such as yourself are like kind of are thinking that way, because that's how I'm thinking as well. And like I want to help keep expanding it and like welcoming people and broadening their horizon. Like it'll help people's health.
It'll change your life.
It'll change your life.
There's no doubt.
Your medical bills will go down.
Full stop.
You'll be healthy. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the marketing, it doesn't help much either, with like.
Yeah,
or,
right.
All right, we're gonna have to
things like
bleep that.
yeah.
Easy. You want to get us sued on our first episode?
This is
what
true.
are you doing?
Yeah. Specific
right.
brands.
That's all right.
But I
No
would,
days off. Oh, that's you. I know what you're
no,
doing.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I have this bit in my act. I do. Was that what you were referencing? Okay. So I have this bit in my act.
oh
where
yeah, let's go.
Literally,
Let's hear it.
Literally, I'm saying what we're just talking about, where I go, a lot of people find running intimidating, and I think that's because of a lot of slogans out there. Because you'll see slogans like "No days off" or "Go out and grind."
Right.
And so we don't do that. We don't do that in the medical industry.
Right, right.
Preparation H. Feel the burn.
Yeah. Or like open wide colonoscopy.
Right.
So.
That's a good one. Man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, man.
I got to get my colonoscopy scheduled. I'm a little late. Didn't think I'd be talking about colonoscopy on this show.
No, let's
man.
get into it, man.
No.
Everything
Let me tell
okay?
you, I had
Everything is
my-
great. Everything is great. It's just you should get checked. Ken and I were talking about
Colonoscopies.
no.
I had
Related.
my first one earlier this year.
There you
I'm
go.
saying.
Look at
How
you.
was
Good
it?
for you, man.
How was it?
Yeah.
Do you want to know?
You,
Oh my
you
gosh!
Slept,
like,
you slept through it, I'm sure.
I slept like a baby. I will say, Kelly, who works for you,
Yeah.
she did give me the best advice.
Yep.
If you're doing your colonoscopy for the first time, do pre-chill the solution and drink it cold.
Okay, that's good.
So much better than drinking at room temperature.
When I was a kid, I called it chalk milk. So my grandfather had colon cancer, so he would get colonoscopies all the time. So one time he was drinking it, and he gave me it, and I like drank it, and I was like, "Bleh,"
Yeah.
when I was like 3 years old.
Okay.
I'm telling you, not even 2 minutes after I finished down in that solution, I was
was-
like, "Get out of my way! I need to go to the bathroom."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
All right.
Your guy's name.
So Ken and I were talking about the Washington Capitals yesterday. We share that we're big Caps fans. Looking forward to going to some games this year. Anyways, so I bring that colonoscopy part up. One of the best play-by-play guys in the business is radio voice of the Capitals, John Walton, and he's my age and just diagnosed with colon cancer.
Really?
And it's gonna be okay. Sounds like it's gonna be okay, but
caught it early.
caught it early.
That's good.
But yeah. So, anyways, that. How did we get talking about colonoscopies?
Well, I was telling you guys that I get mine weekly.
Okay,
It's-
that's what it was.
Yep.
Nothing to do with medical. I just like Nelson like that one.
Yeah,
that's
that's
good.
good, yeah.
That's no, it's not medically charged yet. Not medically, but it's just I like the way it feels.
Yeah.
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 I
But
got-
it's nice to know that things are clean, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
All
take a
right.
different type of selfie. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So,
I'd like
Hey.
to remind everybody watching at home that this is not a brand affiliated podcast.
Yeah.
And if you're watching thinking it is, it's not. So
yeah.
Sorry.
don't come at me.
Oh man. Yeah, we like to have fun though.
Yeah.
Hey, your
All right,
health
I'll-
is
let me-
important.
Digressed.
And you
Let-
need
Let
to
me hit
digress
you
on
with
this.
a couple things
Yeah,
not
yeah.
related to rank. 'Cause I'm curious. I think
Yeah.
it'd be
Yeah.
interesting.
Absolutely, man.
So, couple let's call them lightning-ish round questions.
Let's go.
Feel free to expound if you have a story. If not, that's
Sure.
fine. Move on. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do not believe in ghosts.
You do not.
No,
Okay,
I was reading a story about some football player got a different hotel because there was a haunted hotel that they were staying at. And I lost a little juice for this football player. It was like an NFL player, and so
okay.
I don't believe in ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was.
I'm sorry if you do.
No.
But I just got to be honest.
That's fine. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go cry in the back about
Yeah.
something else. But do you believe in aliens?
I was talking to my 6-year-old about this, and 6-year-olds' perspectives are always interesting. I gotta believe I just cannot believe there's not anything else out there.
The sheer
And
probability is
it's just so massive.
Yeah.
Like I believe we are just a tiny speck in the massive galaxy or universe or whatever the term is. There's got to be.
I'll send you some videos after. So we've had congressional hearings in the past year. People have testified about. Anyways, I go down the rabbit hole with this, so
okay.
I'll back off. But there's a whole cavalcade of information out there.
Yeah. So you're not with me with ghosts, but you're with me with the aliens.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, this is where we get
Yeah.
interestingly tricky because there seems to be a spiritual component to the, let's call them UAP phenomenon. And nobody knows, like the information isn't readily available. So I try to be as skeptical as possible. But people have claimed like crossovers in such situations. Like there was a Las Vegas crashing last year, crash in somebody's yard. And then after that, yeah, you didn't hear about this?
No,
I see. I don't know if I did hear about it. I just don't know if I believe that. But
That
all right,
it
but go ahead.
happened or
That it happened. I just think I'm not sure. I believe something happened, but I don't believe it was some alien who landed there and crashed there and then was.
oh, I see. You're saying like it could be like some sort of maybe government plane that's
something. I don't know exactly.
Okay.
But I don't think it was some ET that landed there.
Sure.
I just don't believe.
I think it's hilarious how like when we have these like alien phenomenons and people see things and the government's so quickly to say like, oh, it's definitely like another government's technology that we don't know about, like could be a spy plane, yet the Chinese sent the Fortnite bus across their country last year to picture totally another person's technology. Like,
I think right now, like, again, they could be disinformation agents, but people like Lou Elizondo, David Grush, people who have been affiliated with the CIA in both intelligence and counterintelligence are like publicly speaking and writing books, testifying before Congress about these reverse engineering programs we have and things that are out there. David Grush testified in Congress that we have, I think he said, non-human biologicals that have been recovered from these crashes. And they claim that they don't know where these things are coming from.
non-human, man. That could be like a giraffe.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
it
could be a cat.
It could absolutely be misleading.
Yep.
But
Just saying.
yeah. You
you're losing me a little bit here. I don't know who these people are. I mean, but
he's like, I'm never coming on again. This was a terrible mistake.
This was
One and
good
done.
until like 30 minutes in. I'm pretty narrow. You'll get to know. I'm pretty narrow in what I know. I have opinions on a lot of things, but what I actually know. But I also know to stay in my lane. I can talk to you about running shoes, I can tell you about the Capitals, all the DC sports teams, and I can tell you what my kids are doing. Other than that,
Yeah. No.
Side note, Ken, I'm the DC Lucky Charm.
Okay.
You know, I moved to DC. I moved up to Northern Virginia in 2018. That was the year the Caps won the Stanley Cup.
Yep.
Right? Year
Yep.
after that, the Nats won the World Series.
Yep.
After that, the Mystics won their series. You know, like I don't know, man.
And Virginia. I mean, I know I'm a UVA guy. Virginia won in 2019,
Yep.
so maybe you had something to do with that as well. Do you live on the Virginia side?
I live on the
right?
Virginia side.
Yeah,
so,
I think so.
Yeah.
It's got to be a correlation there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You gonna see the movie Beetlejuice?
I don't see a lot of movies, so when I do pick and choose, that would not be one that I would see. No, I would not. And is it Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice, isn't that the name?
Yeah,
of it?
yeah.
No, that wouldn't be one.
Wouldn't be a thing.
No.
It would be funny if you went and saw Beetlejuice and you left the theater and you're like, you know what? I think ghosts are real. Like that was the thing that convinced you.
Yeah. Maybe I should see it. Change my perspective. But I'm more likely to see that robot. My kids and Julie saw the robot movie. That's
Horror?
No. It is a cartoon, or they're not called cartoons.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the name of it.
Wild Robot, I think, is the name. Anyways, Wild Robot. See, you guys aren't in the kid demos, so we don't know. But I'll see that, or I'll see whatever the latest Disney. And they've got some adult stuff in it too, so the adults can be entertained. Apparently, this Wild Robot was really good. So
My wife loves watching Disney movies all the time.
so I'm more likely to see that, but probably not Beetlejuice.
Gotcha.
Sorry,
No,
I'm not anti-Halloween.
I just thought it'd be funny.
My
to ask.
buddies have like a whole Beetlejuice theme in front of their house, which is pretty incredible. So I'm a fan of that. But
Nice.
yeah.
So what's your Halloween costume going to be this year?
Oh, that's already been decided. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask Julie, but we've got a whole thing.
Nice.
I think we might be scary stuff. I think it might be like a skeleton, a vampire, like old school stuff.
Nice.
Like we were all the Star Wars characters the year before.
Awesome.
We were I believe it was, and now my kids will be upset if they listen to this.
Y'all ever done the Flintstones?
No, didn't do the Flintstones. They haven't gotten into Flintstones, but I want to say
How old are they again?
they're 8, 8, 6, and 3. I want to say it was like some sort of Pikachu stuff, something like that.
Pokemon?
But
Classic
Pokemon stuff.
Pokemon.
Yeah, something. I might be wrong, but anyways, but we're usually a theme, and Julie does it up, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
In our neighborhood, we've got one of the best streets, the best street in Arlington, if not in DC, Jackson Street, which has incredible Halloween decorations, including the Beetlejuice house. So
Right on. That's cool.
shout out to Jackson Street if you're looking for something to do on Halloween. It is, or even before, just drive down Jackson Street. It's by the Pacers Clarendon store. It's pretty amazing.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll check
Check
that
it
out.
out.
Yeah.
How is it in Christmas time? With do they have
They
do it up?
don't do the Christmas thing up as much. It does. There are a lot of
Got to go
lot
to
of,
Old
like-
Town Alexandria for that one.
Yeah, but this is like, in terms of some of the best in the country Halloween decorations.
Nice.
Jackson Street,
All
over,
right.
over by Clarendon.
Right on.
Check it
writing
out.
it down.
All right. I got 2 more questions
All right,
for you.
let's go.
One's running related, one's
Okay,
not. So
okay,
we'll
let's
do the
go.
non-one first.
Okay.
What do you think happens when we die?
Man, my 6-year-old, you should interview him. This was another thing he was asking about recently. I do believe in a higher power, for sure. Absolutely. So I think your spirit does go somewhere and is somewhere. But frankly, the truth of the matter is I haven't figured it out. I got a lot of things figured out. I haven't figured that one,
Yeah,
I haven't
that's
figured
all right.
that one out yet.
It would be interesting. It would almost be concerning if you were like, "This is what
No,
happened." You were
yeah,
like, oh,
you
damn.
know,
I know what's going on.
Chris-
Now.
No, I don't know. I think there is something, and I want to believe there's something. All of us have had loved ones die, and you got to believe that there is something. So yeah, I just don't know exactly what that is.
Maybe.
All right, let's hear it, Tommy. Yeah,
Maybe we become aliens.
yeah,
Eh?
maybe we go off some other galaxy and live another life as an alien. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who
I don't
can
hate
say?
it.
Who knows?
All right, we'll end it on this, my man.
Yeah.
Tying it back into
Yeah.
Pacers and the
Yeah,
running industry,
absolutely.
running world. Any fun, unique, horrible, anything interesting in your wonderful career? Any interesting interactions with customers? Interesting stories related to running that you're like, you know what? If I got to say one thing before we head out, I want to tell this
Man,
story.
I got so many. But we'll keep it light because of this. I've got so many great customer interactions, and have had such an amazing career working with the community and the runners or vendors and all the partners that we work with. I'll probably say the most interesting one was with James Carville. So I don't know if you know who James Carville is.
Yeah, I do.
He is. He was Bill Clinton's. So this is back in the day. He was Bill Clinton's political strategist. Bill Clinton, president, from probably when I was in. You guys were young lads, or maybe not even born. Probably when I was in high school. Bill Clinton was.
He's still out in the world. Like he goes on Bill Maher quite a bit.
Yeah,
He does a lot of interviews.
So he was big on CNN at the time. Lived in D.C. He's Democrat. His wife is a Republican. He's got a book out there. Which you reference is Chris Farley of Pacers, which is pretty cool. So I knew of him. Comes in our store, big runner, Louisiana, big runner, loud guy, comes in our store, and he is like somebody who you got to immediately gravitate to. I think it's really important in life and business and all that stuff to be memorable, and he is memorable. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be memorable to this guy. So I helped him out with some shoes. He was really happy with the service. I think it was probably his second or third time with Pacers, but he and I really connected. So he'd come back to me. When we talk about running, he'd come back to me. And so this is 2005. I'd just taken over the store, and I was working every day on the floor in Old Town Alexandria. 2006, Hurricane Katrina hits. And he's from the Gulf Coast area, has a lot of ties to the Gulf Coast area. And, it was just devastation, which is kind of relevant to what's happening in Florida right now. It's just awful. And hopefully they're going to get, the support that is needed, and political figures like James Carville were really into helping out the Gulf Coast area in 2006. So Kathy and I had this harebrained scheme. I was like, what if we just did a race? We weren't doing races at the time. What if we did a race? And we put on this race and raise money for the Gulf Coast region. And so I was like, I'm an act now, think later guy.
Right.
Which I think is really important. Another kind of lesson. Like, if you want to do something, if you want to do a podcast, just do it and have 10 mistakes and figure it out and fix it. Don't like sit around and like think about, oh, it should be this way or this way. No, you know what? Just find a beautiful studio like this, which is hard to do, but and then just do it and make mistakes and then do it again and make mistakes and do it again and fix it. If you sat around and deliberated over it for a ton of time, next thing you know, you're going to do it 5 years later and you're still going to make the mistakes that you were going to make 5 years ago. And so why not be 5 years ahead? So I call Carville because he had special ordered some shoes, so we had his number. And I call his office. I'm expecting to get his assistant, and he picks up the phone.
Nice.
And I'm like, "Hey, James, this is the." He's like, "This is James," and I was like, "James, this is the Pacers guy," because he didn't know my name and his attention span. He's an incredible, brilliant person, but you got to nail him. You got to have an elevator pitch ready. I was like, "This is the Pacers guy. I want to put on a race for Hurricane Katrina. I want to put it on in Alexandria where you live." He lived in Alexandria and in Louisiana, back and forth. And I need your support. Will you do it with me? And he paused. And I'm like, terrible elevator pitch. And he's like, yep, let's do it. I'll call the mayor. We're going to do it in 2 weeks.
Oh, my God, that's
I
awesome.
was like, 2 weeks? Like, I was like, what am I going to say? No?
Yeah.
I got to get people to sign up.
Yeah, I got to get people to sign up. I got to get like literally, I was like, there's no way. We hadn't even put on races at the point.
Right.
At that point. We weren't even. So the mayor's office calls me 10 minutes later and they're like, I got a call from Carville. We're putting on a race. And he was able to like fast track everything. So the mayor was like, and some people at city council love Alexandria. We have the greatest relationship. 20 years ago, some people at city council were like, what? Who are these guys? We're not putting on races at this point. So he goes on CNN, promotes it. He's on like Kornheiser's show, promoting it. He was on Kornheiser's show every week. Tony Kornheiser, famous columnist and broadcaster here in DC. He was promoting it. We put it on in 2 weeks, and we had 4,000 plus people show up, raised $125,000 for hurricane relief through the Red Cross. I remember my dad, who was alive at the time, he was like walking back to the store. We had no idea what to expect. We ran out of water. He's walking back to the store with a bag full of money.
Wow.
Because people were just giving money, and they're like, we ran out of numbers, we ran out of water, and they're like, oh, we just want to help. The running community is so incredible and galvanized behind this thing, and they do that. The running community is just so incredible, and it still gives me chills to think about this day, how much money we raised for a really needy cause. And it was just me and Kathy at the time just kind of faking it till we made it, and that really started our events business, because we were like, wow, we got something, and now we have, big races that we put on. And it was pretty amazing. And so that was a pretty amazing interaction. And again, we've got a number of awesome interactions with, customers and through the years. And that was just one famous one. And then he ended up writing about it in the book. And I found out later at a get-together, the reason why he answered the phone was he was waiting on a call from President Bill Clinton. So he literally picked up his phone because he thought it was Clinton on the phone.
Nice.
And then it was me. And so it made sense, because he's like, he's got off the phone. He's like, all right, we'll do it. We'll call the mayor. So it was pretty incredible.
That's amazing. Perfect way to end this first episode.
Yes.
Chris, thanks so much for joining us, bud.
Before we end it,
Okay.
we got, I got a couple things for you guys.
He just pulls out a gun and shoots us.
A couple. We've got a new logo. So thank you for wearing sporting the gear.
Buddy. Aw,
But
thanks,
a
man.
hat for each of you guys, a sticker for your computers. So so
there we go.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
so a Pacers running new logo hat. There you go.
All right,
Thank you.
on.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
So no, dude, I appreciate you guys. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you. Before we go, do you want to promote Pacers socials or anything?
Oh man,
or your
yeah.
store
So we've
locations?
got such good stuff happening at Pacers. Thanks for the platform to do so. Yeah, check us out. All social media platforms, runpacers.com. Also, if you're looking to get engaged with social runs that have hundreds of people, all levels, walks, runs, nobody gets left behind. Instagram is at Pacers Social. So Pacers Social on Instagram. Run Pacers is our corporate. I can't believe I got a corporate Instagram handle, and then a community Instagram handle. That's the best way to follow what we're doing. We're super active. We're putting on races. Sign up for the Jingle All the Way 5K, 15K that's happening in December. We put on the best running experience in the area, I believe. I'm biased, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and put it out there and say that. So sign up for our races, engage with our stores, and you'll be glad you did. We can literally change your life.
Running can change lives.
No
Do you want
doubt.
to promote your stuff? Anything you got going on? Social?
Go to runpacers.com.
All right.
Yeah.
We sell Saucony product there too, so you can buy some shoes there that Ken is selling us. So yeah, I appreciate that.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I know you know about the social runs that Pacers does. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you go to that 14th Street run.
Oh my God.
I'm waiting for DC to
Hundreds,
I
permit
know.
to do that
Hey.
run. 'cause
Yeah.
Hundreds of people.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. No. They're good with it. They do support us very, very much.
Well, on that note, you can follow me on Instagram, Tommy McClellan95. You can follow Laugh and Run Productions Instagram, literally called Laugh and Run Productions. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. This episode will be on YouTube as well if you want to watch the video along with the audio, which will be wherever you listen to podcasts. Show dates, I'm doing stand-up at Stand Up New York in New York City on Friday, November 1st, the Friday before New York City Marathon. We're doing Laugh and Run show, so we're going to be running together, and then we're doing stand-up. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm headlining, where am I? I'm headlining the Glove Theater in Gloversville, New York, December 14th. So, yeah,
Nice.
I'll promote
Wow.
dates here
Big
as well.
time, dude.
So, all right. Thanks for listening. All
Thanks
the
for
love.
listening.
Thank you, Chris. And, yeah, we'll see you next time.
I went well. I like
that was
that.
good.
Good
Yeah.
job. Great job.